And thank you to our guest of honor, my dear Ambassador Levin from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Many thanks to the drama there, and please allow me also to thank my family who came all the way from Brazil, especially my older brother who is here. You can't see, but he's there somewhere. We are celebrating with you tonight 203 years of Brazil's independence. This has been a journey of freedom, of democracy, and especially a journey of embracing our multiracial, multicultural, and multi-religious character as a nation. And a more gender-conscious nation as well. I say this also because I am the first woman ambassador of Brazil in Turkey. And we've come a long way as ladies. I wanted to mention also that Brazil and Turkey had the women voted for general elections in our two countries in 1934-35. This was the first step, and this was, I have to mention, a decade earlier than France, Italy, or Japan. So please allow me to celebrate this social evolution for all of us. But here in Ankara tonight, we are also celebrating, of course, the friendship between Brazil and Turkey. 167 years of friendship. Our first treaty was signed in 1858 between the Ottoman Empire and the Empire of Brazil back then. Let's fast forward to the 21st century, and the hallmark of our bilateral relations is the strategic partnership of 2010, established by President Lula and then Prime Minister Erdogan. We are now working to deepen that partnership, especially my wonderful team here in Ankara, Brazilians and Turks alike, to whom I am deeply grateful. We are setting in motion many agreements, from technical and humanitarian cooperation to industrial cooperation, co-production of films and TV series, and the establishment of a central cultural center of Turkey in São Paulo. President Erdogan met with President Lula last November in Rio, and they reaffirmed this strategic partnership. We also expect President Erdogan to soon go for a state visit in Brazil, as he was invited to, as well as to attend the COP30, the climate summit, in November in Brazil. This climate summit is, of course, of utmost importance to all of us, to our world, which is so threatened by climate change and all kinds of waste, toxic waste, plastic waste. We must all do our collective work. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mauro Vieira, had political consultations here last year, and Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan attended the BRICS Summit in Rio in July, and he is also invited for a bilateral visit next month. I also want to mention that Embraer, our big airplane maker, signed a memorandum of understanding with Turkish aerospace industries last April. So a lot is happening in different fronts. Bilateral trade and our mutual investments are growing steadily, and you can infer that also from seeing our sponsors, our list of sponsors on the screen. Our bilateral trade is expected to reach $6 billion this year. We estimate Brazilian companies are investing around $1 billion here in Turkey. BRF and chicken meat products, you will taste that tonight too. Votorantim and cement, Maxion in steel and aluminium wheels, and WAG in electric motors. They all have their stands here for you to get acquainted with their products. And also some $1 billion are now invested by Turkey in Brazil. Many companies like Car Powership, also here, one of our generous sponsors, and recently in copper mining. The numbers are very impressive, especially when you consider the distance between our countries, some 10,000 kilometers. But they are still far from our potential, so we will work harder with the invaluable support of our friends here from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, our trade exports to Turkey are led by soy, cotton, motors, and coffee. And Brazil is responsible for 72% of the coffee imported by Turkey. So I like to joke and say that the famous Turkish coffee is actually Brazilian. But of course, this is just a joke. Turkey imports green coffee that is harvested in Brazil, and they roast it and prepare it here to this unique and wonderful Turkish flavor. Two of our sponsors here are offering you a taste of that combination of Brazil and Turkey trade ties, Kahve Diniyasi and Federative, and thank you very much for your support. Something similar can apply to meat. Turkey is importing some 180,000 live animals per year from Brazil. We hope that soon Brazilian processed beef will also be available here. Brazilian beef is famous all over the world, it's one of the best qualities, and 190 countries buy beef from us, including in Europe, Norway, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Portugal, Germany, and I hope Turkey will be next. Brazilian halal beef is everywhere in the Middle East too. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Emirates, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iran, well, everywhere. And I believe Brazilian beef products could arrive to the Turkish market with a shelf price 30% lower than what we find here today. And it would have a beneficial effect on further bringing down inflation of food items. Well, I know I am the only thing, me and my guest of honor, we are the only thing standing between you and your company and us. But I also wanted to mention that Turkey and Brazil share a great passion for celebration, soccer, music, and anything that speaks for the soul. We have almost 50 athletes playing here in Turkey, mostly volleyball, soccer, 39 in soccer alone. So this event speaks also our shared language of peace and friendship, in spite of the distance. The physical distance that is also being breached daily by Turkish Airlines with 11 direct flights to São Paulo every week. We want to increase business and tourism both ways. And besides the economic value they can bring, of course, the cultural exchange is an end in itself. We all need to increase further mutual understanding in the world in order to find development and peace, and to avoid so many preventable conflicts and so much senseless killings of innocent people. On a lighter note, please mind your step, literally, when you walk or dance on this floor, this wooden floor. I want to pay homage to another Brazilian native landmark. As I was told, this floor you stand on is made of Brazilian ipê. It is a beautiful and colorful tree native to the Amazon forest. It is one of the hardest woods in the world, harder than oak, and it is a beautiful tree. I hope you can see in the screens, I can't from here. But ipê is now being protected and replanted all over the country, and especially in our beautiful capital, Brasilia. It has many colors, but especially this bright Brazilian yellow. This is all I wanted to tell you. I thank you very much for joining in our celebration, and thank you for your presence and your patience, and happy Brazilian Day. Çok teşekkürler.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is really my distinct pleasure and great honor to be here with you tonight on this occasion of the Brazilian National Day. And through you, dear Ambassador, I would like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the people and government of Brazil on this special and joyous occasion. Now, as you all know, of course, Turkey has been pursuing an active outreach policy towards the Latin American region for the last nearly 25 years. And what has started as a mere simple outreach endeavor has today turned into a solid pillar, and if I may, a strategic orientation of our foreign policy, thanks to our mutual achievements at all levels and with all countries in the region without an exception. But that being the case, I have to add that Brazil has always enjoyed a special place in our relations with the region. There are so many reasons, of course, due to many qualities of Brazil, which a short National Day speech cannot give due credit and enough credit. But allow me to at least say that Brazil is the subject of so many firsts in our relations with the region. For instance, Brazil, as you pointed out, dear Gilda, is the first country with which we established diplomatic relations all the way back in 1858. Likewise, Rio de Janeiro hosted our first embassy in the Latin American region in 1929. And again, Brazil is the first Latin American country with which we established strategic partnership back in 2010. And Turkish Airlines' first destination in Latin America was Sao Paulo, Brazil again. Last but not least, Brazil was the first country I myself visited in the region many years ago. I know that doesn't count much for our general relations, but I wanted to mention it anyway. But joking aside, today we are trying to turn these firsts to the mosts in our relations, both in terms of bilateral and international cooperation. For instance, in the economic domain, Ambassador gave many details, but Brazil is our biggest trade partner in Latin America. Last year, our trade volume was $4.9 million US, but this year, for the first 6 months alone, we have already surpassed $3 billion US. But we believe that we have an even bigger potential and would like to further enhance our trade and investments relations in the years ahead. To this end, we see many priority areas, including health, energy, and tourism. But I would like to particularly mention defense industry and the aviation sector, as you pointed out, Madam Ambassador, as the two low-hanging fruits which might easily elevate our relations to a much higher level, both economically and strategically. And in this regard, I have to say that when I visited Brazil just a couple of months ago for the BRICS Summit, together with Minister Fidan, we were both very much heartened to see the mutual commitment and interest on both sides to pursue the many possibilities in these areas. Of course, another aspect of our relations, I believe, pertains to culture. Indeed, as a person myself who grew by watching Brazilian telenovelas, I can easily say that there are hardly anyone in my generation who had not been glued to their TV screens while these shows were on and who did not want to go and visit Brazil one day. And today I'm so happy that we are returning the favor with so many Turkish TV series being shown on almost every Brazilian channel. I truly believe that the rising popularity of the Turkish TV series in Brazil further contributes to our cultural bonds between our people. And of course, finally, I would be remiss, of course, if I did not mention the role of football in creating an almost iconic image for Brazil in my country. For years and up to today, we admired Brazilian players at every level. And today, there are again hardly any Super League teams which do not have 1 or 2 Brazilian players on their squads. In fact, I sometimes tend to believe that a Brazilian passport alone can be enough to put you in the team in Turkey. That's so much iconic and powerful. But apart from our excellent bilateral relations, we also enjoy a very close cooperation on regional and international matters, despite the long geographic distance between our two countries. And this is because we are two like-minded countries and partners, which strongly advocate effective multilateralism and low-based, not loose-based, but low-based international order. So whatever the issue can be, we have similar principled approaches, promoting and prioritizing dialogue, cooperation, and peaceful settlement of those matters. Moreover, of course, we are both members of the G20 group, and strive jointly to help create a fairer and more effective global economic governance, something which we need dearly today. In this regard, I would like to congratulate Brazil for its splendid performance and valuable contributions to the work of G20 during your presidency in 2024. Likewise, taking this opportunity, let me also commend Brazil in BRICS presidency last year and wish you all the best, all success in the upcoming COP, climate conference, COP30. Of course, we hope then to build on your success in the COP if and when we are given the honor to host the next COP in Turkey. Distinguished guests, let me not keep you any longer away from the excellent food and the music awaiting us. But as we celebrate the 203rd anniversary of Brazil's independence, let me congratulate once again the Brazilian people for their enormous achievements at home and wonderful contribution to the world within that 2 centuries. Let me also stress once again that we are so proud of what we have achieved within that 200 years bilaterally, and express our confidence and commitment to further diversify and deepen our relations in every possible field. And finally, before concluding my remarks, I must express my gratitude to Ambassador, because she's serving her first year as Ambassador of Brazil to Turkey, and her extraordinary efforts have already contributed to further deepening our bilateral relations. So, Gilda, thank you so much, and congratulations once again. Muito obrigado.